The air is thin with morning chill. A faint golden light begins to touch the edges of tiled rooftops. You are standing at the edge of a rising city, not yet awake, but already alive in whispers. Madrid in the year 1600. Listen closely. A distant bell breaks the silence. Then another answers. Soon, the sound spreads across the hills like ripples over water. Wooden shutters creak open. Hooves strike against packed earth. A vendor clears his throat. Somewhere a child laughs, sharp and brief. This is not yet the grand capital of marble and wide boulevards. It is something more raw, more human. A city in transformation. A court at the center of a growing empire. A place where power, faith, and daily survival meet in narrow streets and crowded squares. You begin to walk. The ground beneath your feet is uneven. Dust rises with every step. The streets twist without plan, bending around houses built close together, as if for warmth or protection. Buildings rise in layers of wood, plaster, and stone. Some lean slightly, shaped by time and gravity. Look up. Balconies stretch outward above you, decorated with ironwork. Fabrics hang from them, catching the light. On one balcony, a woman beats a rug, sending clouds of dust into the morning air. On another, laundry sways gently, silent witnesses to the lives within. This is Madrid at the height of its golden age. But splendor here is not always visible at first glance. Turn toward the heart of the city. The sound of voices grows stronger. You are approaching the central square. It is not yet the polished plaza that future centuries will know, but already it is the pulse of Madrid. Merchants arrive early. They carry baskets filled with bread, vegetables, and cured meats. A man unloads barrels of wine from a cart. Another spreads cloth over a wooden table, arranging small items for sale: buttons, ribbons, simple tools. Trade begins before the sun fully rises. You pause near a baker. His hands move quickly, practiced and steady. The scent of fresh bread fills the air, warm and comforting. Customers gather, exchanging coins for loaves still hot from the oven. Bread is not a luxury here. It is necessity. It is survival. Watch the faces. Some are tired, others alert and focused. Many carry the quiet weight of responsibility. This is a city sustained by labor. Servants, artisans, soldiers, and traders all share these streets. Each day begins with effort. Now look beyond the square. In the distance, rising above the rooftops, stands the royal presence. Not always visible, but always felt. The court resides here, drawing nobles, officials, and foreign envoys into the city. Decisions made within those walls shape not only Madrid, but lands far beyond. Spain, at this moment, stretches across oceans. Silver flows in from distant continents. Ships arrive at ports with goods and stories from worlds many here will never see. Yet that wealth does not touch every life equally. In these streets, the empire feels both immense and distant. You continue walking. A group of soldiers passes by. Their uniforms are worn but maintained. They carry themselves with discipline, though fatigue lingers in their movements. War is a constant presence, even when unseen. It shapes the economy, the politics, the future. Nearby, a young boy follows them with his eyes. There is admiration there, perhaps ambition, or perhaps only curiosity. Now step into a quieter street. Here the noise fades. You hear softer sounds. The murmur of conversation behind closed doors. The scratch of a quill against paper. The slow rhythm of someone sweeping a floor. Inside these homes, life unfolds in small, intimate ways. A family gathers around a simple meal. Bread, olives, maybe a thin stew. Conversation is quiet. Resources are limited. Every bite matters. Yet there is warmth here, a shared understanding, a rhythm of life that continues, regardless of the world outside. In another house, a craftsman works. He shapes wood into furniture, his tools worn but precise. Each piece he creates carries value, not only in material but in time. Hours of careful labor, attention to detail. This is how the city builds itself, one object, one skill, one person at a time. Step back into the street. The sun has risen higher now. Light pours into the narrow spaces between buildings. Shadows retreat, revealing more of the city's texture. Cracks in the walls, marks left by years of use, the layered history of a place still growing. You hear music. It drifts from somewhere ahead. A lute, perhaps. The melody is simple, but it carries emotion. You follow the sound and find a small gathering. A performer stands before a few listeners, his expression focused. Coins are placed at his feet. Art lives here even in modest forms. This is the age of writers, painters, and thinkers. Ideas move through the city as quietly as the morning air. Not always visible, but present. In conversation, in performance, in the way people see the world around them. Continue walking. You reach a church. Its presence is undeniable. Stone walls rise solid and enduring. The doorway is open. Inside, the light shifts, becoming softer, filtered through stained glass. The air is cooler still. People enter and leave throughout the day. Some come to pray, others to seek comfort. Faith is woven into daily life here. It offers structure, meaning, and sometimes fear. It influences decisions, relationships, and even identity. You step inside for a moment. Candles flicker. Their light reflects off polished surfaces. A figure kneels in silence. Another whispers a prayer. There is a sense of gravity here, of something larger than the individual. Then you step back out. The contrast is immediate. The city resumes its motion. Voices, footsteps, the creak of carts. Life does not pause for long. Move toward the outskirts. The buildings begin to thin. Open spaces appear. You see fields beyond the edge of the city, where labor continues in a different form. Agriculture supports the urban center. Without it, the markets would fall silent. Workers move slowly across the land. Their pace is steady, their work repetitive, yet essential. The connection between city and countryside is constant. Each depends on the other. Turn back toward Madrid. From this distance, you see it more clearly. A cluster of structures, rising unevenly, yet bound together. Not perfect, not symmetrical, but alive. Return to the streets. It is now midday. The city is fully awake. Activity reaches its peak. Crowds fill the central areas. Deals are made. Arguments break out and fade. Laughter mixes with frustration. The full range of human emotion plays out in public view. You notice clothing more carefully now. Nobles pass through the streets in fine garments. Rich fabrics, detailed designs. Their presence is distinct, though often brief. They move with purpose, surrounded by attendants. Nearby, ordinary citizens wear simpler clothing. Practical, worn, adapted for daily use. The contrast is clear. Wealth and status are visible, but they exist side by side with struggle. Pause for a moment. Stand still and observe. This is Madrid in 1600. Not a single story, but many. A place where empire meets everyday life, where grand ambitions coexist with simple needs. As the day continues, the light begins to soften. Shadows grow longer once again. The intensity of midday fades into a quieter afternoon. Some shops begin to close. Others remain open, holding on to the last hours of trade. Children play in the streets. Their games are simple, their laughter genuine. For a moment, the weight of the world seems distant. Childhood offers a brief escape from the realities that surround them. Adults watch, sometimes smiling, sometimes distracted. Responsibilities remain. As evening approaches, the city prepares to change once more. Fires are lit. The smell of cooking fills the air again. Families gather. Conversations shift from business to personal matters. Stories are shared. News travels from one person to another. You walk slowly through the fading light. There is a rhythm here, a cycle that repeats each day, yet never feels exactly the same. Small changes accumulate over time. The city evolves quietly, steadily. Look around one last time. This is a moment suspended between past and future. Madrid stands at the center of a vast empire, yet it remains deeply human. imperfect, complex, alive with contradiction. As darkness begins to settle, a final bell rings in the distance. The sound lingers, and with it, the sense that this city, in all its movement and stillness, is only beginning its story. Wait here. The night is coming. Night settles slowly over Madrid. The last light fades from the sky, leaving behind a deep blue that gradually turns to black. One by one, small points of flame appear across the city. Candles behind windows, lanterns hanging above doorways, torches carried by those still moving through the streets. You are standing once again in the heart of the city. But it is not the same place you saw this morning. The noise has softened. The urgency of trade has disappeared. In its place comes something quieter, more intimate. The city exhales. Listen. Footsteps echo more clearly now. A distant conversation carries further. Somewhere a dog barks. Then silence returns, broken only by the occasional creak of wood or the low murmur of voices behind closed doors. Walk forward. The central square is still occupied, but in a different way. Fewer people remain, and those who do linger with intention. A group gathers around a storyteller. His voice rises and falls, shaping images in the darkness. Faces glow faintly in the candlelight, eyes fixed on him. Stories matter here. They carry history, belief, and imagination. In a world without printed abundance, the spoken word holds power, connects generations. It gives form to fears and hopes alike. Move past them. A tavern door opens, spilling light and sound into the street. Laughter, loud and unrestrained, breaks the quiet. Inside, men sit close together at wooden tables. Cups of wine are raised. Voices overlap. For a moment, the burdens of the day are set aside. Enter briefly. The air is thick with heat and smoke. Conversations range from simple gossip to heated debate. News travels here about politics, about war, about distant lands. Some speak with confidence. Others listen carefully, measuring each word. Look closer. Not all are at ease. A man sits alone in the corner, his expression distant. Perhaps he has lost something, or perhaps he is thinking of tomorrow. Even in places of gathering, solitude finds its way in. Step back outside. The night air feels cooler now, cleaner. You continue walking. The streets are less crowded, but not empty. A pair of guards moves steadily along their route. Their presence is quiet but firm. Order must be maintained, even in darkness. Especially in darkness. Crime exists here, as it does in any growing city. Shadows offer cover. Narrow alleys conceal movement. Those with little may be tempted to take from those with more. Survival can blur the line between right and wrong. Turn into one of these narrow passages. The light barely reaches here. The walls close in. You hear a quick movement. Someone passing by, unseen. Then stillness again. There is tension in spaces like this. A reminder that the city holds both safety and risk. Return to a wider street. A carriage moves past, its wheels grinding against the rough ground. Curtains are drawn across its windows. Inside, a figure sits unseen. Nobility travels even at night, shielded from the gaze of others. Power does not sleep. Decisions continue behind closed doors. Letters are written by candlelight. Messengers arrive with urgent news. The machinery of empire moves quietly, often out of sight. You walk toward a larger residence. Through a partially open window, you glimpse a room lit brightly compared to the street. Several individuals sit around a table. Papers are spread before them. Their expressions are serious. Politics is not distant from this city. It lives here, in rooms like this, in conversations that shape laws, taxes, and alliances. The consequences of these decisions ripple outward, affecting every person you have seen today. Continue walking. The sound of music returns, but this time it is different. Softer, more deliberate. You follow it to a modest home. Inside, a small group gathers. A musician plays gently, while others listen in silence. There is no audience here, only participants. The music is not for coin, but for connection. Art, in this form, becomes something personal, a way to express what cannot be spoken, a way to hold onto beauty in a world that often feels uncertain. Step away. The night deepens. Above you, the sky is clear. Stars scatter across it, untouched by the glow of modern light. They appear closer, more present. Many in the city look to them for meaning, for guidance, for signs. Belief shapes perception. Some see divine order in the stars. Others see mystery, but all feel their presence, constant and unchanging above a world in motion. You begin to walk toward the quieter edges of Madrid again. Homes are closed now, doors secured, windows dark. Inside, families sleep or prepare to sleep. The day has ended, but its effects remain. Imagine one of these homes. A mother sits beside a small flame, finishing a task before resting. A father lies already asleep, exhausted from labor. A child stirs briefly, then settles again. These moments are not recorded in history, yet they form its foundation. Every empire rests on lives like these. Lives of repetition, of effort, of endurance. Move further. The city's boundary approaches. Beyond it, the land stretches into darkness. No lanterns, no voices, only the quiet presence of fields and distant hills. Turn back once more. Madrid stands behind you, defined by its lights. Each flame represents a story, a decision, a struggle, a hope. Return toward the center. Time passes. The deepest hours of night arrive. This is when the city is most still. Even the taverns have quieted. Only a few figures remain awake. Guards, travelers, those with reasons to move unseen. You notice a man carrying a bundle of papers. He walks quickly, glancing around as he moves. Information has value here. Messages must be delivered, often in secrecy. Not all knowledge is meant for everyone. He disappears into a doorway. The city holds countless hidden narratives. Now slowly, something begins to change. It is subtle at first. The sky shifts from black to a faint gray. The stars begin to fade. The air grows slightly cooler, then softer. A new day approaches. You stand still and watch. The transformation is gradual but certain. A rooster crows in the distance. Then another. A window opens. A figure steps outside, stretching, preparing. The cycle begins again. Walk toward the central square. It is nearly empty, just as it was at the beginning. But it is not the same moment. Time has moved forward. The city has lived through another full cycle. Soon, the merchants will return. The baker will light his oven. The soldiers will march. The children will play. The nobles will pass through. The workers will labor. Everything will repeat. And yet, everything will also change. A new decision will be made. A new idea will form. A new life will begin, while another quietly ends. These shifts are small, almost invisible, but together they shape the future. Pause here. Consider what this city represents. Madrid in 1600 is not only a place. It is a convergence of power and poverty, of faith and doubt, of tradition and change. It is both the center of an empire and a collection of ordinary lives. This is the nature of history. It is not only written in grand events, but in daily routines, in choices made quietly, in moments that pass without notice. The first rays of sunlight appear. They touch the rooftops once again, just as they did before. The same surfaces, the same structures. But beneath them, the city has shifted, even if only slightly. You begin to walk, retracing your steps from the previous day. The streets are familiar now. You recognize the curve of the road, the placement of buildings, the rhythm of movement. Yet there is a deeper understanding. You have seen both the surface and the shadow, the day and the night. This is Madrid in its full splendor, not only in wealth or power, but in complexity, in the way it holds contradiction without resolution, in the way it continues despite uncertainty. As the city awakens again, you prepare to leave, not because the story has ended, but because it continues without you. It will move forward into years of change, into challenges, into transformation, into moments that future generations will look back upon. But here, in this moment, it exists exactly as it is. Alive. Listen one final time. The bells begin again. Their sound spreads across the city, marking the start of another day, another cycle, another chapter. You step back, slowly, as if moving away from a living painting. The details remain vivid. The voices, the footsteps, the light and shadow. Madrid, 1600. A city of beginnings, already carrying the weight of its future. And now it continues without pause, without certainty, but always forward.